Hello all, welcome to the class. This in this session we are going to discuss about optimization of basic blocks. So in the previous video we have seen how to construct the basic blocks and how to generate the flow graph for the given intermediate representation. And in this session we will be discussing about optimization of basic block. So basically why we are going for optimization is for the improvement in the running time of code. We'll be performing this optimization, and here the optimization can be done in two ways. One is local optimization and the next one is global optimization. So here local optimization means we are performing optimization within basic block by itself. And coming to global optimization, so here we'll look at the information that is flowing from one basic block to other basic block, or we can say the information among basic blocks of the program. So that is what generally referred as global optimization. And so here we'll be seeing what is the optimization and how we are going to optimize the basic blocks. And specifically here we are going to see the local optimization, that is the optimization happening within the basic blocks. So for that the first step we need to do is DAG representation of basic block. So the most important technique for local optimization begins by transforming the basic block into a DAG. So we know DAG is a directed acyclic graph, and with the help of that DAG, here we can do the local optimization. And this is actually a representation for single expression which we have seen in previous. So for creating this DAG of basic blocks, there are few steps that should be followed. And the first step is, so every DAG contains nodes, and so here what we are representing a node in DAG for this basic block is, here the initial values of the variables that is appearing in the basic block is taken as a node. And there is another node here in this DAG, so which is associated with each statement within the block. And here the children of that node corresponds to statements that are the last definitions. So that is taken as the another node here. So the first node is containing the initial values of the variables in the basic block, and the next node that is associated with each statement within the block. And there is one more node, and that node is labeled by the operator at the statement yes. So here we have one more node with this with the operator, that is that node is labeled by the operator that can be applied at the statement. Also here some nodes are designated as output nodes, and output nodes are the nodes whose variables are live on exit from the block. That is, we can say their values may be used later in another block of the flow graph. So this kind of nodes are designed as the output nodes here. With the help of this DAG representation of basic block, we can perform several code improving transformation on the code represented by the block. So there are some code improving transformations. That is, first one is we can eliminate the local common sub expression. So here local common sub expression means the instructions that computes a value that has already been computed. So those kind of local common sub expression can be eliminated. And the next transformation that we can do is we can eliminate the dead codes. So here that is we can say when there are some instruction that computes a value and that can never be used in the program, and those kind of code are termed as dead code here. So we can eliminate the dead code. And then next one is reordering the statement. That is, we can reorder the statements. Those statements do not depend on one another. So that kind of statements can be reordered here. So reordering may reduce the time the temporary value needs to be preserved in the register. For that purpose, we are going for this reordering statements. And the final code improving transformation we can do here is applying algebraic laws for reordering the operands of three address instructions. So here we can also simplify the computation sometimes by applying this algebraic laws. So these are all the code improving transformations that we can perform with the help of this DAG representation in order to optimize the code. Let us see all these transformations one by one. So starting with the local common sub-expression elimination. First we should find the local common sub-expressions that is present inside a block. So here how we can find the local common sub-expression with the help of this DAG is by just detecting that whenever we are entering a new node or whenever we are going to add a new node in the existing tree, then we have to check whether the node is existing in that particular tree with the same children in the same order and with same operator. So if that is the case, if there is an existing node satisfying all these conditions, then we can say that this node, that is the newly added node, will compute the same value as the previous node, and that may be used in its place. So likewise we can detect or we can determine the local common sub expressions with the help of this DAG. Let us consider this example. So in this example we have the common sub expressions here. So b plus c and a minus d, and we already know that whenever we have common sub expressions, so the computation of this common sub expression should not be changed in between the statements. For example, in the statement a is equal to b plus c, so this is the first statement, and coming to the second statement, the second statement is calculating the value of b. So when we are calculating the value of b, here the b value is varying based on the value of a and d. Likewise, coming to the third statement, here we are calculating the value of c by adding b and c. So here what happens in this expression, here the value of b is actually getting changed by this statement. So this expression and this expression is not a common expression. Why? Because here the value of b will be something, and after this statement the value of b gets changed based on this statement execution. So what happens now, here the value of b is changed, so it will not compute the same result as like this instruction. So here we cannot say that this is a local common sub expression. And coming to the next statement, d is equal to a minus d. So here when you look at a, we are not changing the value of a anywhere between the statement this one and this one. So here the value of a is not getting changed, and also when you look at the value of d, here the value of d is also not getting changed in between these two statements. So what happens here, it is actually obtaining the same result as this a minus d. So here this a minus d and this a minus d can be considered as a local common sub expression. And for this three address instructions, so how we can construct a DAG? So we already know that the DAG contains nodes. There are four kinds of nodes in DAG, and the node that handles that contains the initial values of variables, and then the node that is associated with each statement within the block. Then we have a node that can be labeled by operator, and finally we have some output nodes and that have variables as live on exit. So based on these we will be constructing the DAG. So when you look at this DAG, initially starting from the first instruction, so first we have b plus c. So for that b plus c, here b is the initial value and c is the initial value here. So for mentioning as it as initial value, we are representing it with naught, that is 0, that is b naught and c naught. So we are representing it as b naught and c naught in order to consider it as an initial value. So after that we have the operator plus, which is taken as a node here. So here we are performing b plus c and the result will be stored in a. So now here this node is assigned to the variable a. So likewise, coming to the next expression, a minus d. So now what is the value of a, which is calculated recently by this statement? So what is the value of recently calculated a? So that will be reside here, and then we have a minus d. So here d is the initial value. Why? Because here in the statement we didn't use d anywhere. So now we have to consider this d and we should take it as the initial value, so that I'm representing it as d naught. So here we have a minus d, a minus d, and where the result will be stored? The result will be stored inside b. So here I'm taking it as b. And then coming to the next one, b plus c. So as I mentioned, here the value of b is updated with this statement. So here we are taking this b value and then taking c. So we know c is not changed or not updated anywhere in these statements. So it again refers to the same c value here. So which is the initial value. Here we have to perform b plus c. So I'm taking b and the operator plus, and for c I'm taking the value, that is for right child I'm taking c naught value, and the where is the result to be stored? It should be stored in c, so that I'm taking it as c here. And coming to the last instruction, we have a minus d. So where is the recent value of a, which is the initial value? Here the a value can be considered from here. Why? Because here we have calculated the value from b plus c, that is the a value can be taken from here, and the next value d. So here d value is also not changed anywhere in the program, so we are taking the value of d as initial value d naught. So here we have a and here we have d naught, so we are going to perform subtraction here, right? So the operator is minus symbol. So when you look at this, it is already there in the graph, right? So which means the graph contains the same children in the same order with same operator symbol, right? So if this is the case, no need to repeat this tree again. So what happens? I'm just taking the value d and I'm assigning this value to this d here. So just I'm taking it as b comma d. So with this DAG, we found the common sub expression, and now we'll see how to eliminate this local common sub expression. So if you take this given statement, okay, this is the given statement, and how we can eliminate the local common sub expression is by transforming this code into like this. That is, we are not going to change the value of a and value of c here. So it remains same, b plus c, and c is equal to d plus c. So instead of taking this two statements, why? Because this is the local common sub expression here. So instead of taking these two statements here we are going to consider only the value d. So we are rewriting this statement as d is equal to a minus d. So instead of taking it as b is equal to a minus d, we are rewriting it as d is equal to a minus d. So in the place of d, what we have to do? We have to replace, in the place of b, we have to replace it with d. Wherever we have b, and we have to replace it with d. So in this expression, you can see we are replacing the symbol d for b. So this is how we are performing the elimination of local common sub expressions. This is one more example for constructing the DAG and for eliminating the local common sub expression. So for these given statements, this is how the DAG will be. Initially we have a is equal to b plus c. So we are taking b naught and c naught and performing addition. The result will be stored in a. Then coming to the next statement, we have b minus d. So here we didn't change the value of b anywhere. So we are taking b naught as the value here. So taking b naught and then taking d naught. Why? Because this is the initial value here. So taking d naught and we are performing subtraction. The result will be stored inside b. Now coming to the third statement, here we have c plus d. So here the value of c is not updated anywhere here, and d is also not updated anywhere here. So we are taking the same initial value c naught and d naught, and we are taking c naught and d naught, then performing addition. The result will be stored in c. Likewise, coming to the last statement, here we have b plus c. So in a previous statement, we changed the value of b from here and we updated the value of c from here. So now we have to take b and c from here. We should not consider the initial values. Instead, we are taking b and c from here. So taking b and c and then performing addition on b and c, and the result will be stored in E. So this is what the DAG representation for this given statement. Then the next transformation is the dead code elimination. So here which code is considered as dead code means, so as I mentioned already, when we have a code and the value of that particular code is not going to be referred in the future. So if that is the case, then we can say that it is a dead code. So here we are going for dead code elimination. That is, here we are going to delete from the DAG any root and that has no live variables attached with it. So here what we are going to do, from the DAG we are going to delete the root node, and that root node does not have any live variables that is attached with it. So if that kind of root nodes are deleted, then we can say that it is a dead code elimination. For example, let us consider this DAG. So in this DAG, if you see here, we consider A and B are live variables, but here C and E are not live variables. So what we can do is, if C and E are not live variables, then we can remove the root node, that is E. So here E is the root node for these subtrees, and we can remove this root node labeled by E. And then when we remove this root node E, then we'll be having only these nodes right now. After removing this node, then all these nodes will become root node. Now again, we know that C is not actually in live. So when C is not in live, and if it is the root node, then we can eliminate this C node as well. That is, we can remove this root node C as well, so that this code will also be get eliminated. Finally, the roots, that is A and B, remains same, because here these variables are attached with the live variables. Then the next transformation method is use of algebraic identities. So here we are going to use the algebraic identities in many of the ways. That is, either we can apply this algebraic identities to eliminate some computation from the basic block, or what we can do is we can do reduction, local reduction instant. That is, we can replace the expensive operator by cheaper one. For example, if you look at these two statements, in these two statements we have x plus 0, so which is also can be written as 0 plus x, which is also written as ex, which means here x plus 0 gives the result x, also 0 plus x gives the result ex. So instead of writing it as x plus 0, we can simplify it as directly ex. In the same way, instead of writing it as 0 plus x, we can simplify it as x. In the same way, coming here we have x into, that is multiplied by 1, and 1 multiplied by x, which gives the same result x. So x minus 0 is equal to x, and x divided by 1 is equal to x. So that what we can do here is, instead of doing the computations, okay, so here instead of doing these kind of computations, we can eliminate these computations from the basic block. Why? Because by doing these computations, anyways we are not going to change the value of x here, so the value remains same, which cannot be changed here even though we are performing computation here. So if that is the case, we can eliminate computations from the basic block like this. And the second way is local reduction in strength. So here we are going to replace the expensive operator by cheaper one. So for that, these are all the examples we can take. So let us consider x square. So instead of performing x square, we can perform x star x, so which also gives the same result as x square. Here x square is actually an expensive operation, but x star x is considered as the cheaper operator here. So in the same way, instead of performing 2 star x, we can perform x plus x. That is, we are reducing the expensive operators as cheaper ones. So instead of performing division operator, here we are performing multiplication, and this gives the same result. So this is another way of using algebraic optimizations here. And there is one more class of related optimization here, that is the third class of related optimization, and that is nothing but the constant folding. So constant folding means whenever we have the expressions with constant values like this. So here we have 2 star 3.14, which is an expression, and this expression contains the constant value. So when we have an expression with constant values, this computation will also gives us the constant value, which will not be changed from the program, that is from anywhere from the program. So instead of doing a computation here, instead of keeping this expression, we can replace this by the constant value, that is by the result that is generated from this expression. So we can replace this expression by this value. This is called as the constant folding. Also, we have some other algebraic transformations, that is we can say the commutative and associativity. That is commutativity and associativity means we have some certain laws, algebraic laws here, that we can apply here for doing algebraic transformations. For example, when we have a commutative, we know the commutative law, that is x star y is equal to y star x. So when there is an expression like this, we can reorder like this one. And for associativity law, for example, when there are some expressions like this, that is a is equal to b plus c and e is equal to c plus d plus b. When these statements are given, and instead of writing this c plus d, what we can do is we can replace this c plus d, we can replace the c plus b, right? So we can replace this c plus b by a. So how we can write this? A plus d. So E is equal to a plus d. So we can replace this c plus b by a. So this is how we can apply this associativity law. So that here we are reducing the computations here, right? So instead of doing computations on 3 variables, here we are doing computation on two variables only, so that we are reducing the computation here. And the next one is the representation of array references. That is how we can represent the arrays with DAG. So here let us take this example. If you consider this example, we have arrays, array value that is assigned to a variable, and here we have a variable that is assigned to an array. In the same way, in the third statement, we have an array variable that is assigned to another variable. So here if we think of this instructions, here we have a of I. So when a of I is there, this involves actually two operation, that is a and I, so which is similar to a plus I. Like here we have common sub expressions on this statement and this statement. So how we can construct the DAG for this given statement is in this way. So here we have a node, and this node have the operator. So when we are assigning the array to a variable, then we have to use this kind of operator. And when we are assigning the value to array, then we have to use this kind of operator here. This is how we can represent the array in the form of DAG. And the next we have is pointer assignments and procedure calls. So here we have assignments of pointers to variables, and in this statement we do not know what p or q actually points to. That is, here we have x is equal to star p, and here star q is equal to y. When we have this operator that is equal to star, so when this operator is there, then this must take all the nodes that are currently associated with identifiers as arguments, and this can be relevant for dead code elimination. And when we have this kind of operators, that is star equal to, so this operator kills all the other nodes that is constructed so far in the DAG. So these two operators have these properties. Then finally, reassembling basic blocks from DAG. So let us consider the same example we have seen previously. That is, we just have eliminated the local common sub expression, and then we formed these statements, right? So here, in some cases, if we think that we don't know whether B and D are live on exit, then we have to compute both B as well as D. So at that time, what we need to do is, so we have to make these statements like this. So instead of avoiding the computation of B and replacing this B with D in this statement, that is C is equal to D plus C, here what we need to do is we need to add B is equal to D. So which means the same evaluation, that is the same result, will be stored in B as well, so that we have to compute both B as well as D. Why? Because we don't know, that is we are not sure whether this B and D are live on exit, so we have to compute both B as well as D here. So when we are reconstructing the basic block from DAG, not only we need to worry about the variables that is used to hold the values, but also we need to worry about the order in which we list the instructions, that is computing the values of various nodes. So for that we have certain rules to remember, and those are all. First is, we need to remember the order of instruction must respect the order of nodes in the DAG. So whatever the order of instructions we have, and that should be matched with the order of the nodes in the DAG. So here we can say that we cannot compute nodes value until we have computed the value for each of its children. So we need to compute the children first, then we can go for the computation of that node. So this is the first rule. Then the second rule is assignment to an array. So when there is an assignment to an array, so it must follow all previous assignments and evaluations according to the order of the instruction in original basic block. So this is what the second rule. Then the third rule is evaluation of array elements. So the evaluation of array elements should follow the previous assignments to the same array. And the next one is, any use of variable must follow all previous procedure calls. That is, when we are reordering the code, no statement should cross the procedure call or assignment through a pointer, and it uses the same array when both are array accesses. So this is all about the optimization of basic blocks.